All right, it's been a couple weeks since I've uploaded a YouTube, but I decided with all that I have on my plate, some passion projects, including spring and all the spring projects, and just wanting to be able to also really enjoy being with my family and not always concerned about creating content, that it'd be much more conducive for me to upload a vlog either monthly or bi-monthly, just depends on the month. It depends what I have accomplished. I will be announcing what my passion project is when it's complete, but I also have a lot of other things that I'm working on. I actually did finish the sweater. I forgot to take a video of it on. I will be sure to do that. I actually do want to make a video of all the projects I've completed, and it has been quite stormy, a rainy May, not very many sunny days, but we did have some fun sunny days. But really, we've just been trying to enjoy these last few weeks of the cold spring and utilize all the rain to get rhodies planted, to get the garden planted, and to do much needed yard work on the property. This is one of our established rhodies. It's actually what, I remember when we first moved here, I didn't really know what a rhododendron was, and it had all these bulbs on it, and when it bloomed, I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed. It's the hibiscus of the Pacific Northwest. And when I lived in Florida, I collected hibiscus, all the exotic hibiscus plants I could order. So of course, now I want rhododendron all over the property. I just wish they bloomed as much as hibiscus blooms, but they bloom in the spring, and I've gotten a bunch of early blooming plants, late blooming plants. I think I bought a total of maybe 15 or 20 this spring, maybe 15, 10, I don't know. But this was filmed the beginning of May, and we got a big chunk. We have all the rhododendron ready to go to finish this project, but this was the beginning of the project, and this feels like forever ago. I was like, when I was editing this video together, I was like, wait, this was only the beginning of May. So this rhododendron, actually, shortly after we bought it, you can see it started to get sick, and they were super awesome and let us exchange it, because it is like, $100 rhododendron. So this is like a rhodie sale they have at the beginning of spring every year. So I wanted to complete this project, because in next month's video, I'll show you why I have like a vision for these rhodies all over the property. We went on a hike that I forgot to freaking film, because I was kind of like burnt out by YouTube at that point. I was like, I'm not posting on YouTube ever again. And then I was like, I can post on YouTube. I don't want to be all or nothing. I think that all or nothingness of like, oh, I have to post every single week or I can't post at all, I think that's what really destroys people's ability to create content. When really, like, you can post as much as you want. I think it's really the consistency factor of it. So, if you do want to start, learning how to create content, or sharing your life, or sharing a hobby, or sharing your philosophies or whatever, there's a lot of very all or nothing people out there on social media, and they say, oh, you got to post 3 times a day, you got to post whatever. Listen, whatever you can be consistent with, that should be the goal. And so for me right now in this season of life, the goal eventually would be once a week, but right now I feel like once to twice a month is enough, especially with all of my shorts that I have coming up on here from Instagram. So now that I did my rant, on with the rest of the vlog. I've been in a hormone health test group, and so if you see some changes in my face in this vlog compared to previous ones, that is why. I've lost a bunch of inches, over 5 pounds, and have like completely regained control over my journey. And postpartum can be really hard when it comes to regaining your relationship with food, because when you're pregnant, it's just you're just eating with a completely different mindset when you're growing a human. And postpartum for me is like all about reclaiming my body, reclaiming my energy, healing, being able to be the best mom I can be, especially for the bigs. And, you know, that takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of patience, especially with a baby around and the overstimulation of having a lot of kids. It's just really important for me to manage my stress and to be the most patient, loving, happy mom that I can be so that I can enjoy my life. And, you know, a big part of that for me is nutrition and my hormones and my moods. Also, making sure I'm doing lots of things for my happiness, and gardening and hanging out with the family is a big part of that, and being outside. So I am so freaking excited that the sun is on the forecast for the next 10 days. So the next vlog that I upload hopefully won't have any rain. Also, nothing makes me more happy than my husband is in the garden with me. And so we had a lot of work to do with getting these beds weeded, and we had to amend them and to start getting all the seeds in and the starts. And quite honestly, it's so crazy to be looking back at this video at the beginning of May and how much growth and how much I've cleaned the garden since May. It's really actually nice to be doing these so spread apart, because it really helps me to see how much progress we've made, because sometimes it feels like you're not making any progress. We also have made it a point during the nice days to go beach hopping. We've explored many different beaches so far. Apparently in May, I completely forgot about that. And there were some sunny days, even though, you know, it has felt lately like there's been a lot of rain. So one of the projects I want to get done was these wine barrels and making them herb and flower garden pots. And I also want to get some more. You can fit a lot into a container. I'm loading these up with tons of different kinds of herbs: rosemary, parsley, cilantro, oregano, and let me show you what else. One of the things I'm also planting is basil. I got this culinary basil, and then this sweet basil, and then something I always do in all my beds, no matter what, I always plant flowers. So I'm doing these around the perimeter of just a very thin ring around each one, and it'll make it pretty and green and also have colors to enjoy outside my kitchen window. So it looks like this. I just do a little tiny just bit right around here, just around the edge. So I'm making these hanging baskets to put on my porch. One of them is already out there hanging out. I had planted these little mouse melons. They're like tiny little watermelons that taste like cucumbers. Putting those out there so I can keep an eye on them, because in the garden they don't, I don't know, they just kind of, I think it might be too hot down there for them. So they do like hot weather, but I think it might be too hot for them down there. So I'm trying it on my porch and taking some of the blue ribbon blend. That snake is not real, and no, I did not put that there. There is animals all over my property, plastic animals all over my property for my kids. And in one of these baskets, I'm planting nasturtiums. These are edible. They're great for flowers. And yes, I garden without gloves on, so get used to the dirty fingernails during the spring and summer months. It's good for your microbiome. So 10/10 recommend. But I am planting nasturtiums in here. They get big and full, and they're edible, and they're beautiful, and they reseed every year, and it's fun to collect the seeds and replant them every year. I have tons of nasturtiums in the house, but I bought some more because I've never had these. And then these are my favorite nasturtiums because they have like speckled leaves and they're super pretty. And I have all my nasturtium seeds just mixed in a big, bag. So I just wanted to make sure that I knew which ones I was planting. And in this pot, I have every year my strawberries, they duplicate, and I dig them up and I relocate them and I propagate. So I'm going to go down to the garden and propagate all my strawberries and put them in here, and then also have these on the balcony. So remember, you just, with planting and with seeds, you always look and read your packet. After they like it, when it's like, right about now, May, it's about 2 weeks after average last frost. It's actually more like a month, but I wait till May. I'll start to see them pop up in the garden. These little seeds, these little leaves, I'll know it's a nasturtium, and I'll move them around the garden and I'll dig them up, and the roots don't get mad. And I'm not going to follow the seed spacing. I'm just going to plant them very close together so they grow very thick. And yeah, they should be emerging in the next week or two. So let's do it. Nasturtium seeds, they look like, whoops, they're little rocks. So I'm just kind of placing them around where I think I'm gonna want to place them, and then I will bury them. Then I just push them down. They only need to be down like a 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to cover them, take them to the back porch, and give them a good soak and hang them up. Good to go. Hello, I'm heading down to the garden. I've got Loki with me. I've got my basket. I'm going to go relocate, strawberries. And I forgot my tripod, so I'll have to get creative with where I put my phone. But I will show you how I do it. It's very simple. They just propagate themselves, so I just move them around. And I'll show you where I've done it before in my garden. You've seen it before, but maybe you're not aware. That's how they came to be, so I will show you. So everything in these metal drums were relocated, so they were propagated from the strawberry bed that I have. The strawberries completely took over. No, don't drink that water. My dog's drinking dirty water. And I wanted to free up that bed to plant more veggies. So I left some strawberries in there, but every year I just kind of take a few and I relocate them. These as well. Every year I just find new places to relocate strawberries just to keep having more and more strawberries. This is the second year these strawberries are in here, and they're doing so much better than the first year. So the first year they'll make strawberries, but the second year, as you can see, they are just firing off. Oh look, little guy, little bee. So now to grab some more and move them into baskets. Okay, here is the bed. So I leave strawberries just along the edge of this bed. It used to be completely full of strawberries, the whole entire bed, so I've just left a row. And these are little baby strawberry plants that I'm going to dig up and relocate. It's kind of an artistic shot. All right. So it's really simple. I just really try not to disturb the roots, so I just go down really deep, and then I just take out like a big clump like this. And then I just kind of break the dirt away to just see where the roots are. Strawberries aren't very delicate. Now that I'm looking at this basket, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. And then I just put them in the basket, just like this. I think I'm gonna be able to fit like 4 in the basket. And then whatever other extras I have, I'll just leave. So there's a second one right in there. Oh, this is 2. Yep, it looks like I'm gonna have to buy more baskets or go get another trough. This one's smaller. So these 2 are like smaller. I think I'll be able to make it work. This one is right underneath the peony. See that peony right here? Oh, sorry. No tripod. This is a peony, which is a really beautiful flower. So I'm gonna make sure I can dig it up without disturbing the peony, which shouldn't be hard. Gonna have to move this irrigation. Look at all these. That's like a whole nother basket. So I'm gonna have to get some more baskets, I think. Okay, right outside my bedroom window. Got some little strawberry snacks. So when we first built this hugelkultur bed, it was like our first garden in the spring of 2021 when we first moved here, and it has been a potato bed, it has been squash, it has been peas, it has been all kinds of things. And this year I actually decided just to make the entire thing one giant flower bed. So I have a couple of dahlias, which I'm going to talk about later in the video, and I'm also going to show how I spread all the seeds to create a wildflower bed. And also, we took down all those trees I had told you about, those little shrubs, and I'm so glad now that we have all the rhododendron in, which I cannot wait to share the update later on in June. I'm so glad we decided to do that. It was an all hands on deck situation though. These kinds of projects, they seem like they're not going to be that much work, and then it ends up being so much work. Like, it's been over a month. But it's worth it. In case you don't know, I have been sober for 16 years, so it's still so weird to buy beer. My kids only know beer as slug poison. And I love that for them. My parents didn't drink growing up either, so I don't know. It doesn't really matter what your parents do. You're going to do you, right? These are, actually my mom did drink, but she hid it. She tried to hide it. Okay. These are slug baits. They're like little houses that you put in your garden. As you can see, some of my plants are doing like this whole, a whole bed that I planted got eaten by slugs already. Here's the aftermath of what a slug can do. I've had some survive that I planted. These are broccoli and cauliflower. But yeah, I don't know how they're going to do. So I planted some slug bait. I love to show my failures because I think that's the reality of gardening. I fight with the slugs every year. These are blackberries. But this whole bed was planted out with lettuce and kale. I've never successfully grown lettuce, ever. I don't know what it is about lettuce. Maybe I don't plant it early enough. Maybe I need to start it inside. I don't know. But this bed is a complete wash. So no lettuce this year. I do have a whole nother bed of kale that I planted, so I'm not too sad about that. But that bed will get planted with something else. Peas are doing great. I've always been successful with peas. So I'm good with some things and not others. I still have a lot to learn. This is only my 4th year. Plus I have kids, so it's like I can't really dedicate too much time to gardening. One of these years I will get it. The garlic looks great. So there's definitely some things every year that I have. I have garlic. I have peas, no problem. We've got some of the swallowtail butterfly. I love these flowers. I forgot what they're called, but they reseed every year, so I just leave them. So these are going to start blooming soon, and the butterflies love them. I also have radish that are going to be done soon. So I've got radish. I have some spinach that's growing. I don't think I stayed on top of watering the carrots enough that I had planted in here with my radish. So I'm going to plant more carrots and try to come out here in the morning and the evening. I just turned on the irrigation. I think that was part of it. So my bad. But I do have radish. I do have spinach, some spinach. Here's some spinach that's growing faster than the others. I'm noticing that's in a more shady spot. So that's probably why. So, putting up some sunshade would probably be good. The lupine is blooming. This is my first year having lupine. It actually is a perennial, and it didn't bloom last year. I had planted wildflower mix. I always plant wildflower mix, and I'll show you when I do that. I think I'm going to try to get that done today too. So this was from last year's wildflower mix, and it actually didn't grow last year, and it's growing this year. So this is my first time having lupine, like ever, or seeing lupine, I think, even. Maybe I've seen them in the wildflower fields, but I'm very excited about it. I have some here, and I have some growing back down over there as well. This is borage. So these are going to turn into big purple flowers, which are also edible. This is also kale. So I just planted a shit ton of kale in here. Some of it is doing good, some of it isn't. So I will just plant around the kale. And I do not have any peas on this side. First year, just having like 2 trellises. Usually I have 3 going across, but I saved this trellis because I'm actually going to go ahead and plant some stuff to climb up that soon. Not sure, probably do beans. So the peas usually stay for like a month or 2. So wanted to leave one empty this year and experiment with that and maybe move it. I think I might move it here. The first year I had my trellises here and I really love that. Or I might just move it here and then next year do all the trellises there again. So I move them around. Okay, so back to the beer. So yeah, you put some beer in there. I have a top here before. So I'm gonna go put some beer in the ones with the baby kale, and because the slugs eat the baby plants, and that's my biggest issue is the slugs. So I need to do better at clearing out the slugs before I plant plants. Next year I'll put a bunch of slug traps out before. You live and you learn. Okay, these are dahlia tubers. Every year I ask my mom for tubers for my birthday. And they get here, my birthday's in March, they get here in April, and then they sit in a box for a month, and then it's time to plant. The last couple years, I have tried digging them up and storing them. And of course, they take on mold and rot. So I saw somebody recently share how she keeps them in the in-ground and then separates them. So I'm gonna try that this year because I just had my mom rebuy me every single bulb that she's ever bought me so that I have them. Also to remember her by, again, I'm not drinking this is for the slugs. In case anybody's like, wait a second, aren't you sober? There's no way I would even drink that if I was drinking. Okay, so anyway, or that. This is all slug food. But yeah, I have a bunch of tons of different varietals. They're all dinner plate dahlias, which are the really big ones that I get as big as my head. So I am planting all the dinner plates in the back since they're going to be the biggest ones. And then these are all of the floret flower dahlias that I grew. So I'm going to be planting those in the front. And this is like these are like 4 beds in one. So I'm going to do all dahlias here, and then I'll probably do zinnias there. And honestly, if I could get 2 beds of dahlias and 2 beds of zinnias, that would be perfect. But we'll see, because I never have enough flowers. So hopefully it'll be enough to fill up this entire bed, because that's the vision. And then I also want to fill up that other entire bed with cut flowers. So we'll see how it goes. My goal with the dahlias is to have them, you know, forever. Like after my mom passes, to have all these dinner plates remind me of her and to have them in my garden forever and ever. So it's very important for me to get this right and not F up the dahlias this year. And this is how you plant dahlias. You just put them in with the little ball sacks. Sorry, I just can't help myself. And then this is the stem where they cut it. So you just cover those, and then you want the stem to kind of be sticking up. So that's a little dahlia coming up. So you just want the stem to be right above the ground, just like it would be when it was propagated. There you go. It's a labyrinth dahlia. Oh, this one's backwards. Emery plate, or Emery something, Paul. And then this one is a bell of Balenciaga or Balenza, I don't know, Valencia, something like that. I pretty much had her get all the dinner plate dahlias that they sell at Eden Brothers. So, and then Breck's is another place. They had sales. They have sales every year. So, and Breck's and Eden Brothers is where we get all of our bulbs every year. Okay, how cute is this tiny tuber? Oh my God, I'm dying. I just had to share. is the cutest freaking thing ever. It's one of the little dahlias I grew from a seed. So the cool thing about growing dahlias from a seed, this is so cool. So this is why I'm kind of getting addicted to dahlias. And I learned this from Florette, who I bought these seeds from. So every seed grows the same kind of dahlia, but every tuber every tuber grows the same type of dahlia and every seed grows a different kind of dahlia. So although it's the same varietal, every flower would be different, every different type of colors and petals. And then you can then take the dahlia's tubers and then you can name your own flower because they're all different. So then you can start to breed your own dahlia that you literally named. How cool is that? So I think this is called like a cottage type of gardening where you put flowers in every bed. I always get these blends and I put them at the end of the beds every single year. And I love it because it makes my beds look very colorful. And then I plant all the veggies in between. Instead of planting flowers in between the plants, I put them all around the ends. And then in the long beds, I do nasturtiums all along here. I can't put my camera up. My kids are naked back there. But all along the bed, I planted nasturtiums. These are all dahlias. That's garlic. That'll come up right when the dahlias are coming up. And they overflow and they also catch all the aphids. So here's this one. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to put it at the end of one of the beds. Okay, so hi. All right, so just very simple. Here I am at the end of the bed. I just take a big handful of flower seeds. Hey guys, there's a caterpillar over here. You want it?
Yeah. Where is it? Where?
Here. Looks like a
everything
cutworm.
Over here is weed, right?
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
I want to touch it. Let's look at it. Whoa. Dad, can you look this up?
And then I just cover it lightly with dirt and I water it.
Can you look this
And it'll grow.
up?
Excuse the dirt. Here's the next blend I'm doing. Okay. So it's really simple. So here's the end of the bed.
Tree? What's a maple?
And I just go like this. Oh, I think I already put seeds there.
What's a maple?
Can't remember. I'm gonna put a couple next to this lupine.
I found him.
Interestingly enough, we don't really go into the back trail system that much after winter, which is kind of interesting. I think because we spend so much time on yard work, we haven't really started landscaping the back part, but there is a part back here that is like open to the trees, like the top of the trail system, that I eventually want to plant rhododendron and other flowering trees. And also there's a big, probably like a 1/4 acre part, like grassy part in the back that we want to turn into something, whether it's building like a schoolhouse structure or just planting an orchard. We'll probably just end up planting like different fruit trees all over the property. We just haven't decided where, because we might build an addition to the house or even build an entire new house. And so we don't want to plant any trees where we might be building. So we're really trying to like make sure we don't waste any time, energy, or money, because we don't have a lot of time. We're pretty tired. We haven't slept in like a month. My son has popping 4 teeth and his 6th leap, and also transitioning from his snoo to his crib. This is a California lilac, by the way. It was on the property. It's evergreen and it smells amazing, and the bees absolutely love it. Sorry about the movie, but I am cutting my chitted potatoes. I actually Sure. Apples. Okay. I actually got these from a local nursery and I've already cut a big box of them. They're the most fun thing to do in the fall with the kids is to dig up all the potatoes. They've been growing all summer, so we do not miss a year. May is the last chance to really plant them here in the Maritime Pacific Northwest. It has been rainy and cold, so we are not behind yet. And so I'm cutting my last one, and I have, what kind of pots are they? Hi, bud. Aww, somebody's teething. What are the pots?
I don't remember what they're called.
They're like
cloth
kind of type pots. Like you can plant potatoes in pots, and you don't have to have like a bunch of land, and you don't have to dig into your grass if you don't want to, but it's a better use of your yard than grass. And the local nursery also told me that sweet potatoes don't grow here because it doesn't get warm enough. So if you're in the South, grow some sweet potatoes for me, please. And I'm gonna get these planted up and I'll show how I do that. Okay, I am now doing this voiceover and realizing that I did not film planting the potatoes, but I'm sure you can Google it and find out how to do that. I'll show them when they start to pop out, and I'll show where I planted them. But I actually did end up buying some starts from the nursery, which I always feel like is kind of cheating. And it felt so crazy to me to spend $50 on plant starts when packets of seeds are so inexpensive. But I really wanted some pepper plants and tomato plants that were a little more well established so that we don't have to wait till August to have peppers and tomatoes. That was a little snake my daughter caught. But anyway, we have, tomatoes and peppers in the beds, but the growing season here is not very long. So it doesn't hurt to get some starts from the nursery, but it's going to be bean planting season this week. I love growing beans. And so the next vlog I'll share about beans. I'll show the incredible growth of the garden and any other progress we've made.